Hello, welcome to another video from the biotech stock analyst, or whatever I'm calling myself this week. I had a request to do another video, an update video on ARDX. There are a number of videos on my site and my channel about ARDX. I've been investing in and following that for almost a year now. I'm very heavily invested and it's done exceptionally well. It's my biggest holding at the moment and has been probably since it was around $1 to $2 is when I really bought in pretty heavy, and then I've just continued going more and doing a lot of things with it. An update was requested. I would say go back and look at all the old videos because I think the thesis has been is unchanged at this point. This is not investing advice. One thing I want to do here. So sinus infections are no joke. I have a terrible sinus infection. I've had it for about a week, so I normally would do a little more prettying this up, but I'm not going to do that. Just want to say this is not investment advice. Invest at your own risk. I'll go through these numbers. This is what is happening. So if you look here, this is the last day of trading, and you see how it just shot up. I think it was probably about 6%. It went up to $4.92, 94 cents, hovered there for a little while, and then it hit that RSI of 70 something, almost 80. Hovered and then flatlined and then pulled back about halfway. Not even quite that. And then a big shoot at the end of the day. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit more and let's just look at 5 days. And it's just doing this over and over and over. You go from 420, then it gets up to a new high about 460, then it hovers around 460, then it gets up to 490. It's going to do this probably repeatedly. Let's go out a month. You can see here where were we at? $3 almost a month ago. So we're up to $2 from we've gone up, we're almost at $5. So we're up $2 in 1 month. I think we're just getting started personally. That's me. As I've been saying since I think last summer, said this is an incredible stock. So my other videos show what my thesis is, but I'm going to give you another thesis on why, because there's a few reasons why I think it's going up. So one is they did their call. They're going to resubmit the NDA. The appeal was approved based on the advisory committee in November. The approval of the appeal, they requested new labeling. Now they're going to resubmit. They're going to do the resubmission probably within the next 4 weeks. They'll do the resubmission. They'll either get 2 to 6 more months review time if it's filed. So one catalyst is the filing. It has to get filed. So basically accepted by the FDA. The next catalyst is them coming back with their review time. When will they get their date? It'll be 2 to 6 months. And then at the end of that 2 to 6 months, they'll either get a rejection or a CRL for some reason, or up to and including that 2 to 6 months at any time, or they'll get an approval. They get an approval, they can start marketing. So our catalysts are the submission, the filing, they accept it, they give the date, the 2 to 6 months, and then when that date is going to be the next catalyst. After that, they'll start selling, and then we're going to see what their sales are in the first quarter after their sales. So we're looking at another, at least I'm going to say a minimum of 3 months before they even really get marketing, but it'll probably take 1 or 2 months to roll. But let's say 4 to 10 months before we really start to see this going up into where it could possibly go up. So why is it going up so much now? There's 2 reasons. My opinion. This is all my opinion. First, there are a lot of people who just play submissions. So they know that stocks go up when they're about to get submitted. If it gets accepted, it'll be in play until they get to the CRO and approval. And a lot of people just play that because they know there's a lot of energy. It becomes highly volatile, and you can do a lot of swing trading. So part of it's that. Part of it is that the projections on IBSRELA, the sales are so good on IBSRELA. It came out of like 1,100 plus scripts just on one category last week, which is that's like over 1 million, but an increase of 100,000 per week, or over 200,000 per week in revenue. They're so good that the projections have been updated. Here's the number on that, to 33 cents per share profit next year, which means going by next year, if you use a price to earnings, it's 726 per share just by next year. And it's going up so fast, I think that projection is probably low, which means this stock is now trading at under 5, and it has a $7.26 potential price next year just on the existing selling product without even taking into factor what Exposa could do. So that's one of the reasons why you're seeing this massive jump. I think people are learning about it. People are starting to figure it out what this is. I mean, it became completely de-risked, not completely, highly de-risked in terms of the Exposa approval in December. So you get the Exposa approval. This is the numbers I see for that. So first off, Sevelamer is the current standard of care. They had 50% of the market in what I've seen, and this is different things. It's hard to nail this information down, but that's what I've seen. You can find that on the online. They were doing, I think it was 1 billion plus with the generics. They had Dr. Reddy has a generic of it. That was only number I could find that was from 2018. But Sevelamer has been out there for a long, long time, and you still have a 77%. 77% of the population has trouble reaching phosphate levels, and the standard of care has been on the market for over 10 years with the generics and making over $1 billion and still doesn't reach it, which means this is, in terms of unmet need, this is a massive unmet need. And that's a big thing. Like the payers pay attention to unmet need. The docs pay attention to unmet need. The patients definitely pay attention to unmet need. It's something that the industry has not provided for. So that means that it's not like IBS, where if you look at the IBS, so this is ARDELYX's, they're not exactly unmet. I mean, there are patients who are having issues, but this is for IBS. We're looking at chronic kidney disease, high population, and people die. So, I mean, it's a little bit different, I think. I mean, there's an unmet need in IBS. Obviously, I wouldn't have those sales, but I believe that Exposa has is something that nephrologists really are looking for, or they wouldn't have pushed for that appeal. So here's the numbers. So if you take 77% of that 550, it's about 340,000. This is the total potential. Okay, at 1,000 per month times 12 months. This is if they got everybody who isn't currently reaching their phosphate levels, and then you do that at 25% profit. So it's something like $4 billion in sales. You do 20, they would make about 1.2 billion. Divide that by your 206 million shares, you get $4.95 per share in terms of earning. And then multiply that times a price to earnings ratio of 22, which is standard for pharmaceuticals at the moment. That changes, but at the moment you get $109 per share as a fair market value. I think that's unrealistic that they're going to just come in and every single person who's currently has chronic kidney disease is going to start taking this. But I'm going to, let's say what is realistic. So that's 25% of the market. That would put them at $27.23 per share, and then add in your Ibsrela projection of 33 cents per share, which I think is low, and you have a $34.49 share price. That's not end of 2023. That's more getting to maybe end of 2024, possibly into 2025, or that would be what your buyout. Maybe I think buyout might even go higher. So in terms of where we're currently at, $5 per share, we're under $5, but about $5. It'll be at $5 quick. There's a massive up ceiling above, all that room above. And the only thing standing in the way, there's a couple of things standing in the way. So you have, will they get an approval? So the FDA can always still reject them or cause problems. I think it's the probability is higher that they will get this accepted at this time, just based upon the appeal and all the time that was wasted in the appeal and everything else, or not wasted, but that it took for the appeal. The next thing is marketing. They did so here's this is from their, so this is Exposa. 72% of physicians report a high need for new treatments. So there's a lot of physicians out there. 77% of patients aren't getting their phosphorus levels where they need to be. They've done a lot of studies, and they've been very successful. Here's the one I like. So they did a survey of 200 nephrologists. 70% have an interest. 56% going to adopt within the first 6 months. Okay, so if you have 56%, now let's say this applies to the whole population, 45% like the novel mechanism. So 8,000 nephrologists account for 80% of phosphate lowering therapy prescriptions, which means their market already has the education, likely or highly educated at this point. Half of them that they're reaching out to, half of them are saying, yes, we would probably. Now, this is a survey they did, so how much do you trust it? But within 6 months, I mean, that means that if you were to expand that out, that means that your 340,000, that's 170,000 patients that could, within the first 6 months, be trying this. That's just massive scripts. That's right now we're doing, or ARDX is doing, 1,100 plus, maybe like 1,500 or so. I don't remember exactly what it is, but they're not doing tens of thousands of scripts every week. They're doing, they're doing a fraction of that. With Xphozah, they could be very quickly, but even so, I take this number and I say, well, don't worry so much about what happens immediately. If you have only 8,000 nephrologists accounting for 80%, and word gets around with these HCPs anyways, it's going to be quick. If and the studies show success, so this is going to be a fairly quick uptick. There's a lot of data for the safety. Everyone knows what the problem is. It's diarrhea. It's pretty much or not the problem, but the adverse event is diarrhea with this. So I think it's realistic and conservative to go with $34.49 by the end of 2024. So we still have almost 2 years for that, but I'm willing to. I mean, I've been buying since $2. I'm willing to hold out until that. So many people have trouble. So the next one, another thing is, so Sevelamer is 50% of the market with 1 billion generics in 2018, but you still have 77% of the market or 77% of the patients that are having issues with reaching healthy phosphate levels, and adherence is a tremendous issue with binders, and all current options are binders. So you have a novel approach, small pill. I'm going to pause this and show. So I'm not sure if you'll see this, but this is basically the marketing for it. Is you have a tiny pill. Over here, this is Xphozah, and over here, this is the standard of care, which would be Sevelamer. So you have to take all of these pills with all of your meals in order to reach that phosphate level, or you have a combo therapy or monotherapy with Xphozah, and you reach it otherwise. I think that the actual industry, the actual market is larger once you get the right treatment out there and something that people can adhere to. And that's what this is. So I think this is conservative, $34.49 per share. At the end of 2024, that's two years, given that they get the approval and they have a successful launch. After that, I really think that this could go even higher. So the CRL gave ARDX an opportunity to educate the market, so they've already reached them. Numbers do not factor in Ibsrela, so that this number does. This $34.49 does. So that's what I think. I mean, what do I think is going to happen over the next few weeks or months? I think this is going to. I mean, this story is just getting started. If you go way out, let's go out a year, 5 years. So this is where they got their initial CRL. So they're not even back up to the 750. Now, the market was higher than, the PEs were higher than, everything was, there was a lot more money. There wasn't the Fed with the rates and all those things. But you can see it heading towards that. If you look out the max, I mean, this is the starting point, 32. They've gotten past all of this, and now they have one selling product going to be profitable by next year. I mean, unless something happens, but it looks to be profitable by next year. Another one that is it's a whale of a product, getting approved after over a year. So this is when they got their CRL. So July 12th, 2021. So they will have almost 2 years from their initial rejection to getting the submission that should lead to an approval. So they've been pushed off 2 years. If the FDA doesn't approve this, after all the nephrologists came forward and said, we want this, they vote on it in the AdCom after the constant the work that was done, the appeals that were lodged by ARDELYX. If they say they rejected at this point, I don't know how they do that. I just don't know how they do it. But I'm going to hold, which I don't typically. I've lost a lot of money holding stocks through a PDUFA date or something like that. But uh, I will with this. I'll be honest with you. I just think hold and I just want to wait and see because I think that this is very good for patients. It provides a true unmet need. Uh, it's a novel approach. It already has a good track record. The company is phenomenal in terms of, I mean, just what management team or group could ever just fight that way through that? Look at what they fought through. Um, I definitely personally, I'm going to hold through, and I think it's going to go way up. Personally, it's my opinion, and I'm looking at a 20 to 30 to $40 exit for myself, and I think eventually it would be hard to believe that Sanofi, which is the Sevelimer, they own Sevelimer, or Teva, which does a lot of binder stuff too, that they wouldn't swoop in and try to get a buyout of some kind of ARDELYX eventually. I mean, it's not going to happen right away, but eventually. I don't think it would, but maybe it would. Either way, that's all I have to say. Again, sorry, I am very sick, so I have a sinus infection. I can't. I'm having a hard time just even looking at the screen. But guys, if you have any questions or anything you want to discuss, let me know. You know, I follow this one all day. I do a lot of things with this, so I have my core holdings, and then I do swing trading. All of it's doing well because it's that I have no problem buying or selling this at any time. I just think that it's that strong at this point that it goes up. I sell a few shares, it goes down. I buy shares. I just but I have my core holding, which is very large. Um, I'm very confident with ARDX at this point, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Been wrong before. Thanks. Have a good one.